Hello guys, it's me Nemu Urahara, and in this video I will talk about the identity of Jinta and Ururu because Kubo recently gave us an answer about their origin, but I think the ones who have read the novel they have a clue about the origin of Jinta and Ururu because there are some indications about their identity in the novel. So in this video we'll talk about Jinta and Ururu, then Kubo's answer, and then we'll talk about what was said about them in the novel. So first of all, I think that everyone who likes Urahara Kisuke or interested in him as a character wants to know every mystery that surrounds about him, and among these mysteries was the identity of Jinta and Ururu, especially since they appeared at the beginning of the story. Urahara Kisuke appeared from the beginning as a Shinigami, and in the Pendulum arc we learned that Tesai was the leader of the Kido squad, while Jinta and Ururu, their identities remained a mystery, and it was obvious that they are not human children was raised by Urahara Kisuke. For example, we noticed how Ururu showed strong skills while fighting the Arankara Elfort and forced him to release his resurrection in order to face her, and the same can be said about Jinta. And we also wouldn't classify them as a Geekon because this genre of souls which called Geekon is not capable of development and growth and does not have a real body, while Jinta and Ururu we saw how their bodies getting old, and in the last arc Kubo didn't draw any scenes about them. However, he touched their subject through Nemu because Jinta and Ururu are almost like Nemu's case, and like Mayuri said, Nemu is a result of merger between the technology of Geekon and Gigai. As we know, the Gigai is a temporary body that can be entered by either the Shinigami or any other soul, while the Geekon is a substitute soul. It doesn't have any real physical form, and the most of their job is to enter the Gigai of the Shinigami when he gets out from it, like what Rukia did with Chappie. However, the difference between Geekon and Nemu is that the last one is able to evolve, unlike the Geekon, they are souls who cannot grow and develop, and this is the big obstacle that Mayuri was trying hard to surpass, so that he did 6 failed experiments before he did the 7th experiment that enabled him to create Nemu. For example, the 6th experiment he was able to create a female child of his own making, but her cell division stopped and she died within 2 years, because as Akon said, the lifespan of the artificial soul cell is 2 years, but Nemu surpassed that lifespan and became a being that can develop and grow until she became the form that we saw throughout the story. So Mayuri was happy that he was able to create a soul that develops on its own, and he thought that this achievement is his own and no one can do it but him, not even Urahara Kisuke, whom Mayuri considers his rival. However, it seems that Mayuri was wrong in his perception. Urahara Kisuke succeeded in creating 2 successful experiments, not even one, and they are Jinta and Ururu, because Kubo in his private forum club outside, he answered a question was asked about their identities. The question was, please tell me the mystery of Ururu and Jinta. Who are they? Kubo here answers, both of them are artificial souls created by Kisuke. And I have to be clear here. Kubo didn't say they are modified souls, I mean like Kon, because the kanji of modified soul is Kaizo Kompaku, while Kubo used in his answer the term Kizo Kompaku, which means artificial soul, and this term also used by Akon when he was speaking about the 6th experiment. So this was Kubo's answer. They are artificial souls created by Urahara Kisuke, but we don't know how. And as I said, in the novel it was mentioned a paragraph about them, and we can conclude several things from it. So in the novel, which took place 6 months after the Battle of the Quincy, Hisage visited Urahara Kisuke to prepare a report for the magazine of the Surety, which he became the head of. So he was bringing a few questions to Urahara Kisuke, and what I should point out here is that Hisage knew perfectly that the task would be very difficult, and I mean difficult in terms of extracting information from Kisuke, especially since Hisage wanted to delve into Urahara's past, and the latter was fully aware of this matter. So in the midst of their conversation, Urahara Kisuke was trying to avoid getting into important topics. That's why he made a side joke about Jinta to change the context of the conversation, but Hisage took advantage of that point and turned back the direction of the conversation towards Jinta and Ururu themselves. Like always, Urahara was trying not to reveal the truth about them, and he was only giving Hisagi inaccurate answers. He started by some information we already knew, like that Ururu is 3 years older than Jinta, but here Hisagi asked him, are they Geikon? Urahara replied that this is not true and said that generally these souls cannot grow and develop, and as I said before, this is the same thing that Mayuri was trying to overcome. Then Hisagi remembered that Kon was in the Soul Society because Kon was previously arrested by members of Mayuri's technical team, and as we know that Kon falls within the Mood Soul, the project that was cancelled by Serity. This is why Hisagi asked a second question. So are they Mood Soul? But Kisuke denied even this possibility, and at that moment nothing left to Hisagi just to ask him that essential question, so maybe they are like Nemu's case. Here Kisuke will put his fan over Hisagi's mouth, prevent him from completing his speech, and this means that Hisagi almost pronounced the correct answer, to which Kisuke replied, if you tell Mayuri that, he might want to make experiments on them. And so, what Urahara Kisuke said after that is Mayuri had a specific background on Jinta and Ururu, that they are different from Nemu in the essence of how each one of them was made, and this is why Mayuri thinks they are not like Nemu. But in the end, they have the same evolutionary mechanism as Nemu, at least the basic features, the development and growth. And the other questions remains, when did Urahara Kisuke do this? It can be said that Urahara began his experiments on this subject after he was expelled from the Soul Society, especially since Kisuke has a wide knowledge on this technology, because as I said, Nemu was a result of merging between the technology of Gigai and Geikon, and we saw how professional Urahara is in making Gigai. In the Pendulum flashback, we saw how he made that special Gigai to help souls who were thought to be disappearing due to their inability to maintain their human form. And he also made a special Gigai for Ishin in order to connect him with Masaki's soul. Kisuke also made Rukia's Gigai, and we saw how the technical team was surprised by the cleverness of making that Gigai, to the point that some of them thought it was made by Mayuri himself, until Akon told them that it was made by Urahara Kisuke. So the issue of Urahara Kisuke performs these experiments and creates souls like Jinta and Ururu that can grow and evolve. It's not hard for a genius like Urahara Kisuke. However, Kisuke's goal is definitely not like the goal of Mayuri, who wanted an idealistic soul that can grow and be strong and capable of development. So I do think that Kisuke just felt lonely and he decided to make souls to work with him. So for this it can be said that Jinta and Ururu, like Nemu, they are children of Urahara Kisuke. But of course I want a biological child of Kisuke from another woman, which is definitely Yurichi. So guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video and the answer of Kubo, and see you guys in my next video.